So let's talk about building a creative life. And what's really interesting is that it's not about some grand dramatic breakthrough. It's actually about the small, quiet, repeated actions that you barely even notice. It's about building something real, one tiny win at a time.
But let's be real for a second. How many of us have looked at a project or a passion or just a little idea and had this exact thought? That voice in your head that says you're not a real artist, that you just don't have what it takes. You know that feeling. It's the very first wall we've got to get past. Okay, let me tell you a story. This is Sarah. And that canvas, it's not just a canvas, right? It's a symbol of a dream she's put on hold. And it's just sitting there, silently judging her for what she thinks she should be doing. It is the paralyzing fear of the blank page personified. And we have all been Sarah. I mean, maybe for you, it isn't a canvas. Maybe it's that blank document on your computer that's just titled Chapter 1, or a business plan that's nothing more than an empty folder on your desktop. Or, that guitar gathering dust in the corner. That feeling of being stuck before you even begin. It's a totally universal creative challenge. So what do we do about it? Well, the solution starts by completely redefining what we even think creativity is. It is not some exclusive club that you need a special invitation to. It's much more fundamental than that. It's simply a way of moving through the world. And you can really see the contrast here. On the left, you've got this intimidating myth of the artist, all suffering and drama and paint-stained fingers. But on the right, that's the quiet, accessible reality of everyday creativity. Finding a new way home from work, rearranging a room so it feels fresh, turning a kid's tantrum into a silly game. These are all creative acts. And here's the truth. You are already creative. Remember Sarah from the story? Well, in her day job as a manager, she's being creative every single time she explains a concept in a new way. Or think about Maya, an accountant, who comes up with a metaphor to make complicated numbers feel simple. Or James, a database admin, who designs these elegant systems out of total chaos. That's what creative work really looks like. No beret required. Okay, so if creativity is an everyday thing, how do we get more of it? Well, the way to cultivate it isn't with some big, grand gesture. It's with a small, consistent one. This is the ritual mindset. Now, when I say ritual, I want you to forget about candles and complicated ceremonies and all that. In this context, a ritual is just a simple container for your attention. It's a predictable, safe little space you create for the part of you that likes to wonder and play. Think of it like this. A ritual is a doorway. It's not the room itself. It's not the final creative masterpiece. It's just the way in. It's the simple little act that signals to your brain, okay, hey, this is the time we get to be curious. Take Elena's story, for example. Every single morning at precisely 6:47, she makes tea. Now, the ritual isn't really about the tea. It's about that specific chosen moment. That is her doorway from the reactive world of checking emails and notifications to an intentional state of mind. All right, so how do you build your own doorway? The key is to start with steps that are so small, so simple, that they are just undeniably achievable. We're talking about getting your first few small wins on the board. So here's how you can start. Literally, your first goal is to just open the document. That is it. The victory is just showing up. Then, the next day, write one sentence. It does not have to be profound. The coffee is good today. Done. That is a win. Then, maybe you draw one line, just a mark on a page. You have just physically created something that didn't exist a moment ago. The crucial point here is the power of one. One sentence is a complete thought. One line is a complete action. It's manageable, it's a building block, and it is almost impossible to fail at. That number, 1, is everything. But what happens when you do fail? When life just gets in the way and you miss a day, or maybe 4 days? This right here is where most creative habits die. Not because of the missed day itself, but because of the guilt that comes after. And this is the most critical shift in mindset we have to make. The goal is not a perfect, unbroken streak. The goal is simply the return. Coming back is always, always more important than being perfect. Consider Maria. She's a nurse, and she missed 4 days during a really tough stretch at the hospital. And she felt that familiar shame, that feeling of, I've ruined it. But instead of giving up, she just came back. She opened her journal and wrote, I'm here now. And that wasn't an excuse. That was a victory. The real win wasn't her perfect consistency. It was her choice to return.
So we have to completely reframe this. Missing a day is not failure. It's just data. It's just information about your schedule, about your energy levels. It's a chance to practice being kind to yourself. And most importantly, it's an opportunity to make the conscious choice to just come back. Now, once you've built this foundation of showing up and returning, you can start to personalize your practice. The goal is to find a rhythm that works with your natural tendencies, not against them.
And a really great way to do this is by figuring out your creative archetype. Now, this isn't about putting yourself in a box. It's really about getting some clarity on your natural strengths so that you can lean into them.
So, which one are you? Maybe you're a gardener, someone who patiently nurtures ideas until they finally bloom. Or maybe you're a stonecutter, making that steady, reliable progress day after day. You might be a drifter who finds amazing connections by just following your curiosity. Or a bell ringer who excels at creating that perfect intentional moment to begin. Every single one of these styles is valid, and every single one is powerful. Ultimately, your creative future isn't some distant destination you need a map for. It is the person you become through all of these small, consistent choices. It is built not in dreaming, but in the doing. So the only real question left is this one. What will your next small win be? Opening the document? Writing just one sentence? Just decide what you're going to do next.